So you're thinking about moving to Cottage Grove, Minnesota? Well, in this video, we're gonna let our fingertips do the walking and Google Maps do the talking. And we're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything that there is to know about living in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, well, you found the right place. Click that subscribe button, tap the notification bell, and smash that like button on the way in so you can be the first one to know about the current market in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. My name's Garrett Hilton. We get calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you, looking for help on making their move to Cottage Grove, Minnesota, and we absolutely love it. So whether you're making your move in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. We'd be happy to make your move to Cottage Grove, Minnesota a smooth one. Oh, and don't forget, all of our information is in the description below. All right, everybody, and as I always mention, and you can see it in my other map tour videos, today we're gonna let our fingertips do the walking and Google Maps do the talking. So let's get after it. All right, let's talk about stuff available in Cottage Grove, Minnesota today. I think it's important to note the type of properties to kind of give you an idea of just how many listings are on the market. All this doom and gloom all over the internet and the interwebs. The market seems slow and there's just not enough inventory. Well, let me give you a couple of examples, okay? We always like to start that out when I'm sharing on Google Maps about the communities that are available and the like new construction, old construction, all those things. So we're gonna take about the first 3 minutes of this video today and show you what's actually on the market. So you're seeing a view from me, a sneak peek. As a real estate agent, I can actually see all of the inventory that is for sale on the multiple listings service. And one of the things we want to point out right away is, dude, there's at least 10, 15 properties that are located in Cottage Grove in the normal price points. And what I mean by normal price points, like 0 to 200, 300 to 400, 400 to 600, and 600 plus, okay? And so when looking at that, we've got, oh my gosh, let's give you an example of one. All right, so single family listings that are available right now, as I said, there's 98 of them. And to give you an example, we've got on the northeast side, 9517 is available, and that's over on, that's a newer construction home. It was built in 2024. We've got a place that's on a street called Harkness. That's $899.9, and we've got one that's in a little more in a more affordable side of town. That's in central Cottage Grove, and as like all cities, they develop in an area, and then over time they kind of spread out, get larger, get larger, get larger, and as they get larger and as new construction is built and developed, the areas that are aging tend to be pulled up in value by the outer areas that are now being developed as land is subdivided and lots are created, new roads, etc., etc. So if we're looking on the outside of things, what we're seeing is stuff that's the newer construction is anywhere from $500,000 to well over $2 million. And if we go to the center of town, you've got prices like $379.9, $248. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a 2-car garage, which is kind of significant. $349.9. Something that's a 3-bed, 1-bath. It was built in the 1950s. Let's actually take a quick look at that one. Yeah, built in the 1950s. I was right on. Let's grab the listing real quick. If you look, there she be, $349.9. Nice place. Really good. And I love these. I love the one-story homes from the 1950s through the 1980s. Why? Some of them actually were built like this, that had that large overhang over the front. A couple of things that serves. One would be in the basements, because most of our homes in Minnesota have basements. In the basement, there's less of an opportunity for water intrusion, because it's getting the rainwater dripping further out from the foundation. Less of a chance that you're going to have that hydraulic pressure like pushing through and the water like seeping through the block and getting into the house and giving you that musty basement smell. So this is definitely a cool build, and kind of some neat photos. There we go. See? How cool is that? Oh, nicely taken care of, parquet floors, carpet in the living room, pretty standard. Looks like it's got a little bit older windows, but it was just well taken care of. Somebody lived in it and took care of it for a number of years. Great example. All right, so when we are going to be getting together, and feel free, put in the comments like what your favorite home is, or when you think of a home, what house you first remember from your childhood. Put that down in the comments, okay? When we're going out shopping for houses, I absolutely love going out to a local coffee shop. And the Cottage Grove is no exception to this. They have the national brands, as well as they've also got the local coffee. It's the small local coffee shops, which in many cases, I like going to them, especially if I'm gonna get like a scone or maybe like an almond croissant or something like that. Most of that stuff is made from scratch. The commercial, a little more commercial stuff from Caribou Coffee is they've got the convenience, they've got the speed, and they've got the bougie coffees just like the local places. However, it's a little more commercialized, and if you're just primarily looking for speed, Caribou Coffee is a really great option, especially in the city of Cottage Grove. But first and foremost, like when you're talking coffee, we normally think breakfast, right? So Woodbury Cafe, great one. It's a mainstay, 10 to 20 bucks a plate. Have a get in, get out type of breakfast. Be able to sit down and enjoy a cup of fresh coffee and some eggs and some bacon and maybe pancakes and maybe a steak and maybe have biscuits and gravy too. But that's only if you want to take a nap before we're showing houses. So we're not going to get into that today. Caffeination Station is a local place that's in Cottage Grove that's super close. Here we go. There you be, right there. It's off the main drag, which would be 61. It's kind of the only major street that's through Cottage Grove, so probably one of the downsides of Cottage Grove, because they only have one main vein that goes through the town. Now, of course, it splits it essentially equidistant on both sides, and one of the fun fact about Cottage Grove is they were forced by, I don't know if it's like the state of Minnesota or what, but they were forced to completely reconstruct their water delivery system way back in the day, and they put a massive investment into that, and which poised them for, because it's not as developed of a community, they're poised for extending and expanding a whole bunch, which allows them to grow faster, which there's more supply. So and with limited supply and are in and around the rest of the suburbs, or perceivably limited, this gives you an opportunity to move into a community and buy a brand new home, live in it for a couple of years, be able to sell it, if anything, break even or make a profit on it on top of it, for you to kind of keep recycling. That's one of the ways that I love talking about house hacking, right? And with doing that, I've a multitude of clients that started out in their 20s, bought a brand new townhome, 2 years later, in the growing communities that is, 2 years later, bought a single family home, 2 years later, bought a bigger single family home, and just kind of kept going as the community grows. It's a great opportunity or a great hedge for you as a consumer. Coffee shops, let's give you one more. Black Sheep Coffee, a caffeine cafe. Gotta love that. Dunn Brothers, big fan of Dunn Brothers. It is a national chain. However, does really great work. Keys Cafe in Cottage Grove, like I'd mentioned in one of my other videos, I think it was for White Bear Lake, actually, is in many of the communities in the Twin Cities suburbs, they've got a Keys Cafe. Now, as I understand Keys, it's a local brand. They just opened up a bunch of locations and it's a family-owned business. I can appreciate that. They're a little more commercialized because they're getting larger. However, they have absolutely amazing German chocolate cake and carrot cake. Their cream cheese frosting on their carrot cake is second to none. Super love it. Right on the way out of Cottage Grove, because I actually haven't been to this particular Keys, but, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I have. I know what that looks like on the front. I've been to that one. Interesting. So I've already been there. Great food. This one is a little bit different from the majority of the Keys cafes. This one's got a very industrial feel with really, really high ceilings. Great one for that. One of the major things that when people moving into the communities is it close to everything? Well, how about this? Let's take a look at grocery stores. So right on the way in and or out of town, you can also get gas at the same time. You've got Hy-Vee gas station and Hy-Vee grocery, which is right off of 61, making it super convenient for on your way home. Like if you work on the north side, maybe you work downtown and you want to be able to live a little bit further out. Hy-Vee grocery store in Cottage Grove, especially when you're living in the Cottage Grove community, super convenient, super close. They've also got a Cub Foods, which again is a national chain. I grew up with Cub Foods, and so I tend to be a creature of habit. And my mom went to Cub, so she always grocery shopped at Cub, so that's where I do my grocery shopping in many cases. Otherwise, you know, like an Aldi. Aldi's always a great for what occurs to me as like the fresh produce that might not be the most perfect stuff, might have some blemishes on it, but the savings is, I mean, in many cases it can be like 30% cheaper than if I were to go to Cub Foods. In some cases, depends on the type of vegetables and fruits and what have you. So I tend to go to Aldi for specific things, and I schedule like once a week roughly or loosely schedule those errands to Aldi when I'm on my way to something or on my way back from something. And that's what's great about Cottage Grove is that it's all very, very close to 61. So it's like, oh man, I got to go to this grocery store next. Fear not, because all you have to do is take a left, go 30 seconds, take a right, and then you're back on the freeway and you're there in 4 or 5 minutes. So it's certainly not like a long, arduous drive for everything, and allows it to be nice and close, even though from the overhead view it looks to be maybe a little bit daunting for some people. Like things are really spread out. Not so much, because when you got a 70-mile-an-hour road that you can just hop on and everything's right by said 70-mile-an-hour road, gives you an opportunity to efficiently get to where you need to go. And by the time we've had our coffee, maybe we had breakfast or whatever, when we're looking at homes, or just you're driving around looking at stuff in the community, a great place to be able to grab some lunch would be the Junction 70 Grill. Another one, Las Margaritas, Mexican restaurant, super fantastic. It's got 4 stars, and I think the 4-star thing is that there's a lot of folks that like to give negative reviews of something that they're not super used to. Las Margaritas actually is very, very traditional, and so their tacos don't taste like Taco Bell. And many folks, they tend to make their comparison to Taco Bell, like the certain type of flavors. This isn't true, but I feel like a lot of people in Minnesota, like they don't like spice. Anyway, we do have a very diverse climate. It's just, at least from both my family and from a lot of clients that I've worked with in the past, even folks, even minority folks, because like 82% or something of my clients are of some form of a minority class. So looking back over it, we just actually did an audit, and it's crazy. I have a very diverse clientele. However, the majority of them are of a minority or of the minority, and it's super cool to be able to serve such a diverse community. And there's a lot of folks that, you know, they have a smaller world and they don't necessarily see that, so they feel like things are really separate. And I have a much broader point of view, I guess. Lisu's Thai Taste, I don't know about this. It's got 4.4 stars, so likely it's probably a really great to-go place. I'm a big fan of Pad Thai, love Pad Thai, and I love some of the soups that are created, not only the Chinese, but the Thai soups that are out there with the certain spices that they use. Absolutely love Thai food. So when I am down in the community, this is great because I think I'm gonna go there just to check it out. And this one is kind of like right in the center in the heart of Cottage Grove. And again, if you're looking and paying attention to the map, it is right on Highway 61. Park Cafe, another classic, just a really basic greasy spoon restaurant. Used to be a bar at one point. It's been around for years and years and years. Great place to go get pancakes, pancakes, eggs, bacon. You're gonna have your normal Folgers type of cup of coffee. Eagles Bar and Grill, that's a great one for dinner. It's a golf course that it's not a dress code required. However, it is a little nicer place. Got some great views, awesome patio. I have not personally been there yet, but hey, look forward to it. Applebee's, oh my gosh. If you've ever been to Applebee's used to be a pretty big mainstay like Chili's. And I think that a lot of them they've kind of run their course in the state of Minnesota. I don't know about other areas. I've never been to Lock and Dam Eatery. That's too far south. That's not in. That's just something if you want to go down by the river. And I would call this an attraction. They've got a really, really cool patio, and you can watch the boats go by on the river and listen to the traffic as it comes over from. I think just technically that's right over by the Wisconsin border. Yeah, as people come into the state. Tanucci's. Ooh, I'm way north end of town. Yep. Tanucci's is on the north end as you enter in, like with 494, 61, 10 meet. It's a great fine dining restaurant and definitely a good destination spot. Let's head over to attractions in Cottage Grove. Something that you might appreciate. I don't know if you got kids or not. You've got Arbor Meadows Park, Peter Thompson Park, and Arbor Meadows. What do we got here? This is in more like the center of Cottage Grove. It does not have a lake. However, it does have ponds and man-made ponds, natural wetland areas. And it's a great one to take the kids and Fido the Golden Reliever. Peter Thompson Park, great for kiddos because it does have a huge, massive kids playground. Dude, when your kids are like below 8, I would say it's super fun to take them to the park, just because for those of you that are like, oh gosh, it's just so, we just didn't have time and whatever, just remember that if you're a parent and your kids are like 7 and 8, things shift really quickly. They start shifting into teenagers and I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. My kids are like that. I've got a 10, 11, and 12-year-old. So let's see, Gray Cloud Dunes Scientific and Nature Area. Ooh, this is a good family thing to do, or even just a personal thing to do. Maybe you and your favorite person or a group of friends, just to go out and check out nature and to be able to have an opportunity towards guided learning, like physical learning, like in reality. So that's kind of neat. Hemingway Park is another one. Got ball fields. Got have a playground. That's covered with the chunky, rubbery type of a playground. So it's a little more safety friendly type of a park. Definitely points to being suburbanite. In the Twin Cities suburbs. I don't know. Put down in the comments, have you ever been to a park where it was basically like ground up tires? So it's not sand, but it's like little baby chunks of ground up tire rubber, and they tend to be more bouncy. And so like if you were to fall off of the swing sets or fall off the slide or something like that, less of a chance for injury. Put down in the comments if you played on those as a kid, or if you've actually played on that stuff and bounced around on those, those areas that is the tire rubber. I'd love to get a conversation like that going online, just to kind of get some other people's perceptions of that. And let's see, more attractions. Not a lot of, like, you got Spring Lake Regional Park is right off the river, and that's just down here. And we'll go, whoop, there she be. Cool. Another cool thing about Cottage Grove is it's right by Hastings. And so you're in the river valley. And so there's a lot of peaks and hills as you're coming into where the river's at. You've got a lot of cool restaurants and places to go to that's just within 15 minutes of you, to be able to go for a nice afternoon. There's huge biker rallies over in the Prescott, Hastings area, or over by Hastings area right off Highway 1061. And that's another thing too, 1061, since it is right on the way to that river valley, there's a lot of cool biker rallies and a lot of cool car shows over in the area. Schools, let's talk about schools, y'all. They've got plenty. There is 10 schools. There is, let's see, you've got Pine Hill Elementary, that's public, South Washington County Schools. It's only 3.3 stars. Oh, that's a bummer. Here, Pine Hill Elementary School, 4.5. So right in central Cottage Grove, really, really high marks there. 4 stars, Cottage Grove KinderCare. Oh, cool. So daycares, we didn't actually talk about daycares this time. Yeah, actually, I want to say something about that. As far as like daycare goes, there is a ton of licensed daycares in Cottage Grove. So not just Lisa down the street that watches kids because she just wanted to have a daycare and didn't buy a commercial building, but there's but not just ones that are just cash, but actually licensed, insured, and bonded daycares, which is that really that big of a deal? It's not necessarily the biggest deal. However, it offers, if anything, like an initial peace of mind that like this person, this daycare that I'm going to enroll my child in is going to be around for the duration of their daycare years, and it's unlikely that they're just going to quit next month. So if that helps any, let's go over to religious centers. Yeah, I want to talk about religious centers. Okay, good. So you've got a number, let's see, we've got 3 evangelical Christian churches out here in both the new neighborhoods on the north, on the central side, or on the northeast side, as well as if we go right in the heart of Cottage Grove. Very, very rooted in Judeo-Christian teachings. The Alley Church is, I believe, yeah, that's Christianity. Yep. So that's Judeo-Christian. There's mostly Judeo-Christian teaching churches out here. So it looks to be, since it is a community that's a little bit further out, since generally most of our communities were founded on Judeo-Christian teachings, you're going to see a lot of Christian churches. Now, as the areas diversify, and you can tell from my perspective, when the areas have gotten extremely diverse, that's when you start seeing like among Christian church, 100% spoken in Spanish church, and you'll see like a Buddhist mosque, and you'll see a Center for Islamic Belief, where they meet weekly, multi-times per week, to be able to do daily prayer, and folks that, or in many cases, they've worked at buying entire malls. It's definitely a system in the state of Minnesota. I don't know if it's like that in other states. However, I do know that in Minnesota, that's very, very common, is they'll buy malls that were built, strip malls that were built in the 80s, and have it be this Islamic center. And so it'll be a place where you can go and do prayer. multiple times per day, and they offer counseling for folks that adhere to the Islam religion. Hindu temples also, for prayer and for things of that nature. It's going to be a little more on the little closer to downtown, so probably like a 20-minute drive at the absolute most, because I know that you're within 15 minutes of an Islamic temple. So at any rate, that's what we got there. Hey everybody, Garrett Hilton just one last time here. Make sure to click the subscribe button, tap that notification bell, and smash that like button on the way out. I totally respect that you watched the video all the way to the end. And for that, I'm grateful. Thank you so very much. I wish you a blessed year, and you stay classy.